York, and we've actually seen the sun in some spots anyway. It's D-backs baseball, brought to you by Sanderson Ford, hoping to escape from New York with a win over the Mets. And today, Clay Buchholz is next man up. It's the D-backs from New York on Fox Sports Arizona. Good morning from Citi Field, and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthiaume, Bob Brenly along the way. D-backs will try and salvage the series finale against the Mets before it's on to Milwaukee. And today, Clay Buchholz is on the mound. Bob making his D-backs debut.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see which Clay Buchholz we get over the course of his career. He's thrown a sinker, he's thrown a cutter, he's thrown a four-seamer, a curve, a slider, a change, a split. So it'll be interesting to see what he features today. You see his numbers in the minor leagues this year in 5 starts. The 12 walks a little concerning, but that was in the minor leagues.
I can tell you what Noah Syndergaard is going to throw today. Fastballs.
High velocity fastballs, approaching triple digits with that heater. He has a full complement of pitches, a curve, a slider, a changeup as well. He's having an outstanding start to his season.
So it's Clay Buchholz and Noah Syndergaard, the D-backs and the Mets from Citi Field. It's D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona. D-backs baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by CenturyLink, connecting you to the power of the digital world. By APS. APS works 24/7 to keep you plugged in, powered up, and connected. By Gila River Hotels and Casinos. The card by Gila River Casinos earns you rewards 10 times faster than ever before. Sign up for the card today. And by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. And by Jack in the Box. This season, D-backs home runs score free Jumbo Jacks only at Jack in the Box. Well, we've got some sunshine for you here in Citi Field for Noah Syndergaard up against Clay Buchholz. D-backs baseball is next on Fox Sports Arizona. Sanderson Ford. Steamy, sticky, 81 degrees. Some sunshine out there. Welcome in. It's Steve Berthew, Bob Renly, and Jody Jackson with you. The D-backs and the Mets, the series finale here before it's on to Milwaukee for 3 against the Brewers. D-backs trying to get off the schneid here. They've lost 9 of their last 10. And here's their starting lineup. It's presented by your Valley Chevy dealers.
David Peralta once again will lead it off out in left field. Chris Owings in right field for the injured Steven Souza Jr. Jake Lamb back in the lineup at third base today. Paul Goldschmidt over at first. Daniel Descalso playing second base this afternoon. Gerard Dyson out in center field. Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Jeff Mathis doing the catching for right-hander Clay Buchholz.
Well, there's no question last night's loss hurt. The Mets won back-to-back games for the first time in more than a month with that walk-off sac fly in the 9th inning last night. And the D-backs have not been swept here at Citi Field since July of 2015. So let's try to keep that trend going, get the series finale before we head off to Milwaukee after this one.
Yeah, you're right. That was a tough one last night. A very winnable ball game for the Diamondbacks, and the usually very, very reliable bullpen wasn't so reliable last night after Jimmy Sherfy and Jorge De La Rosa.
There you see Goldie all smiles in the dugout after his home run in the ball game last night. His first since April 15th. And they've got Clay Buchholz on the mound against Noah Syndergaard and the Mets. Mets come into today 3 over 500, 3.5 behind the Braves for the NL East lead. On bat day here at the ballpark, they handed out a whole lot of, thank goodness, plastic Mets baseball bats.
Yeah, probably wouldn't be a good idea to give angry Mets fans real wooden bats.
Well, they should be happy after winning the first 2 games of this series, and here they are on a Sunday in New York. And your Ram truck starter for the Mets is the right-hander Noah Syndergaard. 3-1 in 9 starts. He's got the hammer of Thor fastball this year, averaging 98 miles an hour.
Now, we mentioned it in the open of the show. He'll approach triple digits with that fastball. Occasionally he'll try to sink it, but it doesn't really do much. It doesn't have enough time to sink when you throw it that hard. Has a good curveball, good slider, good changeup.
Let's take a look at the New York defense. A look around the diamond is brought to you by E.D. Marshall Jewelers.
Brandon Nimmo once again out in left field. Michael Conforto in center. Jay Bruce over in right field. It'll be Wilmer Flores, last night's hero. He'll be at third base. Ahmed Rosario, the shortstop. Luis Guillorme at second base. Adrian Gonzalez over at first. Tomas Nido behind the plate for right-hander Noah Syndergaard.
And Greg Gibson is behind the plate for the umpires, calling the balls and strikes this afternoon. Jordan Baker's our first base ump. Vic Carapazza at second. And there's the crew chief, Jerry Lane, down there at third. Time now, Bob, for your Valley Honda dealers. Key to the game.
Well, sticking with the Escape from New York theme, we're going to feature Snake Plissken today, since he was the guy who did escape from New York in that tremendous movie played by Kurt Russell.
Yes, that was very good acting in that one, if I recall.
Yeah. Oh.
So let's escape from New York with a win here.
Absolutely.
David Peralta set to lead it off. Clay Buchholz about to make his D-backs debut, and they're optimistic about what they'll get from Buchholz here this afternoon.
It's been over a calendar year since he last pitched in the major leagues. Ironically, coincidentally, against the Mets, his last major league start back in April of last year.
Yeah, coming off a flexor tendon injury and surgery last year in his right elbow. Only made 2 starts for the Philadelphia Phillies. And he's made a couple of starts at AAA Reno for the Diamondbacks. Takes the roster spot of Jimmy Sherfy, who was optioned back to AAA Reno after the game last night. Noah Syndergaard can be a handful. You got that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And he's got Greg Gibson back there behind the plate. Gibson generally expands that strike zone a little bit in the lower third. He can open up things east and west. And so we'll see how that zone looks here today as Peralta leads it on.
Syndergaard operating on Matt Garza time here for the day game. Took his sweet time getting in from the bullpen. Umpires were on the field waiting for the Mets to take the field, and finally Thor decided, I'll go out there and throw a few warm-up pitches. So just a couple minutes late, but about to get started here.
You don't argue with guys nicknamed Thor, I guess. Peralta fouls that one away, and we're underway. 98 from Syndergaard. David 0 for 4 in each of his last 3 games now. 99 in, and it's 1-1. Syndergaard, despite the high velocity, does not generate a whole lot of swings and misses with that fastball. Certainly not nearly as many as, say, Jacob deGrom usually gets. We saw deGrom here Friday night, and he punched out 13 D-backs.
That was a changeup at 91. Yeah, deGrom was really good in the opener of this series. Everything was working for him.
'99 down, swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. Syndergaard will occasionally get outings when the opposition is right on that fastball, and he's not getting the swings and misses with it, especially when he tries to just sort of overpower bully hitters with that fastball. He can be hit if you get your pitch.
And everything he throws is hard. We talked about the high velocity fastball, throws a hard slider, a hard changeup in the low 90s. The curveball is really the only what I would consider to be an off-speed pitch.
Went to that hard changeup and gets his first strikeout.
Looked a lot like Zach Greinke's changeup. Not quite that hard, but you know, that little bit of a tumbling action that makes it sink when it gets into the hitting zone, and he throws it extremely hard.
Chris Owings in right field today. .210. He's homered twice. Steven Souza Jr. still day to day. He may be available to pinch hit today, and Dr. Wieslewski will look at the MRI results in Phoenix tomorrow after aggravating that strained right pectoral muscle. Some inflammation in there. They had the MRI here yesterday. That one is trickled foul.
You know, on the surface, you would say this is a good matchup for Chris Owings. We talked about it last night. We've talked about it over the last few years. Chris Owings, he can hit a fastball. He likes that heater, especially if it's up a little bit in the zone.
The key, I guess, then would be getting yourself into a fastball count, would it?
Oh, yeah, that would help. I mean, this is a guy that is going to feature his fastball when he's behind in the count. I think the key to facing any premier pitcher like Noah Syndergaard is swing at strikes. Don't chase pitches out of the zone. Find yourself in those 0-1, 0-2, 1-2 counts, and then you're going to have all kinds of problems hitting this guy.
Kind of all over the place with that fastball here so far. Behind on Owings, 3-1 with Jake Lamb on deck.
Yeah, Syndergaard using that kind of hybrid windup. It looks like he's in the stretch position as he gets a sign from his catcher, and then a slight step back with the left foot right into his motion.
Boy, 99 down and in. It's full 3-2.
It was funny. Keith Hernandez was in here entertaining us earlier today and talking
fun.
about Syndergaard. He said, can you imagine if this guy had a throwing stroke like Nolan Ryan? He's got a very short arm delivery and still generates high velocity on that fastball.
Misses away at 100 miles an hour. A one-out walk for Owens. Dave McKay coaching in first. Jake back in the starting lineup today. 5 games this year, 273. Mets will put 3 defenders on the right side of the infield. Flores still relatively close to the bag at third. .99 right below the knees. 0-1. Jake had an RBI double in his return from the DL in Friday's series opener. Missed 39 games after that sprained AC joint in his left shoulder April 2nd. He'll keep an eye on Chris Owings over there. CO swiped a couple of different bases last night. He stole second in the 5th inning and the 8th. Gonzalez holds him on the bag at first. 98 is low. He didn't go, says Jerry Lane. 1-1.
Yeah, 2 steals for CO last night, 2 for Gerard Dyson. Might have to get the runners going a little bit more until the offense gets back on track.
And there goes Owings, swing and a miss by Lamb. And again, Chris Owings is off and running. Opposing teams in the past have run wild on the bases against Noah Syndergaard. He's had some trouble holding runners. So that may work in the D-backs' favor. 1-2 on Jake. That hard breaking ball. Second strikeout for Syndergaard.
I don't know if I'd call that a legitimate slider. Looked more like a cut fastball, but whatever it is, it gets up there in a hurry.
Here's Goldie, 204 and 5 homers. Starts him off with a breaking ball. This was Goldie to lead off the 4th against Steven Matz last night, just over that orange line out there in left.
Good to see the home run. Good to see him pull a ball hard to left field last night. Teammates gave him the silent treatment when he got back to the dugout.
Torrey was telling us this morning he couldn't hold out any longer. He finally had to just sort of give up and go over and give him a hug. You will not find a bigger supporter of Paul Goldschmidt than his manager. D-backs in this series just 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Trying to get Owings home from second with 2 outs. On the ground to third for Wilmer Flores. Syndergaard strands the 1-out walk. Clay Buchholz makes his D-backs debut. Coming up. Is the right-hander Clay Buchholz, signed on May 5th following his release from the Royals. He's made 5 starts this year, all in the minor leagues.
I mentioned his wide variety of pitches. We'll have to see what he features here today. He's thrown just about every conceivable pitch over the course of his career. We'll see what works for him here today.
Left fielder Brandon Nimmo back in the leadoff spot for the Mets. Nimmo 269. He's got 2 home runs. He has singled, doubled, and walked twice in the series. Scored the winning run last night. on the Wilmer Flores walk-off sac fly. Lamb and a step on the grass at third. There's a strike. Clay Buchholz, as a D-back, does not expect to be the 96, 97 mile an hour guy he was earlier in his career. But he believes he can get back to being the guy he has been the last 5 or 6 years prior to his flexor tendon surgery that cost him nearly all of last season. So we'll generally see that fastball right there, right around 89, 90 miles an hour. Jay Bruce on deck. Buchholz has different fastballs, 4-seam, 2-seam sinker, and a kind of a cutter slider hybrid. He's had a curveball. His best pitch, many folks will tell you, was his changeup when he was at his best in Boston. And when that changeup is working, it can take him to a whole different level. That's what Torrey was telling us this morning. Got the call on the fastball inside, and Greg Gibson rings up Nimmo. Here's the lineup for the Mets. Our Valley Chevy dealers has that for you.
Nimmo goes down looking. He'll be out in left field. Jay Bruce will be out in right. Wilmer Flores at third base. Michael Conforto out in center field. Adrian Gonzalez, the former Dodger, former Padre, former whatever, at first base. Luis, how you pronounce this?
Guillorme.
Guillorme. Okay, he'll be at second base. Tomas Nido doing the catching. Noah Syndergaard batting 8th. And Ahmed Rosario, the shortstop, batting 9th.
Soft fly to right center for Dyson. As I think it was Dean Martin who said that's Guillorme.
It's Guillorme. You sure?
No. E.D. Marshall Jewelers gives us a look around the diamond at the D-backs defense.
Peralta in left, Dyson in center, Owings in right. It'll be Lamb and Ahmed on the left side of the infield. Descalso and Goldschmidt on the right side with Jeff Mathis behind the plate for Clay Buchholz.
2 outs on 7 pitches. Here's last night's walk-off hero, Wilmer Flores, back in there at third base today. Fastball misses up. It's 1-0. Flores 233. He's got 3 homers. A couple of hits in the series. He doubled here Friday night.
You can make a lot of money on a bar bet with this one. Since the start of the 2014 season, who leads the major leagues in walk-off hits?
I'll say Wilmer Flores.
Right you are.
He had a walk-off sac fly last night.
2 already this year.
And he bangs this one into left field. Peralta is going to have to play it off the carom. Wilmer Flores is in there at second with a double.
I'm not sure who David Peralta was deking out there. That looked like either the cutter or that hybrid slider you're talking about, but he left it up over the inside part of the plate, and David kind of deked like he was going to make a catch out there, maybe hoping to get Flores to slow down and then throw him out at second base, but the throw back to the infield a little bit too late.
2-out double for Flores. Michael Conforto. 5 hits and 4 RBIs in the series. He homered last night.
Change up in the zone right there. Not the location you want on that pitch, but good arm action.
Conforto's hot. He's homered 3 times in his last 8 games. Clay Buchholz can be and has been a very deliberate worker. In fact, he's been among the slowest in baseball in recent seasons, but he does a good job controlling the running game. He's in no hurry out there, knows what he wants to do. Change up, and it's 1-2.
You mentioned that pitch being a difference maker for Clay Buchholz. He's thrown some really good ones here in the first inning.
That has most often been his best swing and miss pitch. Just got to make sure you leave it in a good spot. Back to the fastball, and Conforto fouls that one away. It stays 1-2. Popped up behind first. Descalso ranging out there, and Daniel runs it down. Buchholz strands the 2-out double, no score from Citi Field.
Order talking to Torey Lovello about Clay. He said, look, with the Red Sox, he liked to call his own game, reading swings, things like that. He said, we're not going to look for him to do that today. He can work with Jeff Mathis on that if he would like to, of course, but they want him to lean on Mathis, call the game today, just focus on pitching. Mathis said he was open to that. They went over all of that this morning, but also keeping an eye on the catching situation, guys, as Mathis will start back-to-back for the first time this year here in the day game today. A little bit of space there, though, with the night game tomorrow in Milwaukee, as he'll catch Zach Greinke, of course. And then we'll keep an eye on the catching situation, as John Ryan Murphy has been good in 10 starts. He's batting .308 with 4 homers. And Torey said he hasn't sat down with the catchers as a group or individually, but yes, he would like to look to get Murphy another start here. Some more starts in general, guys.
Well, his bat has certainly earned it, Jody. John Ryan had an RBI single last night and a 2-run homer. Daniel Descalso leads off the second inning against Noah Syndergaard. He's quickly down 0-2.
Yeah, there's no doubt that the Diamondbacks want to see Alex Avila get the bat going a little bit, but in the meantime, when you're struggling to score runs, struggling to get hits, you got to play the guys that are swinging the bats well.
And that's been John Ryan Murphy when he's in the starting lineup.
Where you going, Greg Gibson?
He's running away from that wild slider.
That's a wise thing to do right there. If you see the catcher start to bail out, follow him.
Gibson with a big pat on the back there for Tomas Nido. Save the umpire at all costs.
Greg Gibson was my first managerial ejection.
I had that in my notes. I was going to save it and see if you could remember.
Oh, I remember.
He actually ejected you twice.
Yeah, but he was the first. He'll always have a special place in my heart.
Right. You always remember your first ejection.
And I was sticking up for Gracie. That was the thing.
It was a check swing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Scalzo goes down on strikes. Yeah, Gracie had checked his swing, and they appealed down to Greg Gibson at third base. And not only did he ring him up, but then he kind of followed Gracie back to the dugout, just waiting for him to say something or do something. So
you did.
I'd rather be thrown out than Gracie. So I went out there and got in his grill a little bit, and that was that.
Sure, it was a very civil discussion.
Oh, of course it was.
Gerard Dyson in center field today. Shoots that one the other way by Flores, who was drawn in against the bunt. And Dyson has a one-out single, first D-backs hit against Syndergaard.
Gerard Dyson now 3 for 3 lifetime against Noah Syndergaard.
Ownage.
Yep.
Well, Dyson had a good night here last night. He walked and stole 2 bases, scored a run. We've already seen Owings swipe a bag against Thor here today. So we'll see how Dyson does with Ahmed the hitter, 213 and 6 homers. Nick doubled in his first at bat here last night against Steven Matz.
There's another pick to first coming right here. I'll tell you, a lot of the premier base stealers, and Gerard Dyson is a premier base stealer, they like pickoff moves to first base so they can get a read on his move. If a guy just throws home, you're not quite sure how quick he is throwing to first base. But if you can get a big enough lead to draw some pickoff moves, then maybe you can get an extra half a step or a step on your leadoff.
Dyson holds, and a fastball misses low. 1-0 on Nick. So actually, every time he throws over there, you're learning just a little bit more.
And you know, Dave McKay obviously has done his homework already, looking at Noah Syndergaard video, and if there's something to be had, Dave McKay has it.
Dyson holds on the 1-0. That fastball caught the inside half, and it's 1-1. Long set by Syndergaard. Late time granted by Greg Gibson back there.
Yeah, that's on the hitter to protect the runner in that situation. When the pitcher's out there just holding the ball like Syndergaard was, occasionally the base runner at first will get antsy, start to lean toward second base. That's when you become vulnerable to a pickoff move.
Holding on the 1-1. Fastball down, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. There goes Dyson. Ahmed fouls that one away. A fastball at 98.
As you can imagine, Syndergaard at 6'6", close to 250 pounds. It takes him a little while to get unwound and deliver that ball to home plate.
Yeah, he's a big dude out there. Fielding is Dyson. And hard slider missed, and it's 2-2. I don't know how he gets all that hair underneath that cap.
Most of it is not underneath the cap.
I think it's stapled in the back of the hat. Fastball misses low, and it's full.
Distract the pitcher out there on the mound. You've got speed on at first base. He's thrown some pickoff moves over there, trying to speed up his delivery to home plate a little bit to give his catcher a chance, and we walk another batter here.
Jeff Mathis is on deck. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Nick Ahmed. Dyson breaks for second, and Nick knocks that into center. Dyson will get third base. Great at bat there by Nick Ahmed.
Well struck line drive comes on a fastball down. He barrels it up to the gap in left center. With Dyson on the move, he will easily go first to third on that ball hit into center field.
So they're on the corners with 1 out for Jeff Mathis. Jeff in there at 190 on the year. Adrian Gonzalez yelling out some defensive call to Syndergaard on the mound, not wanting to burn a mound visit. Gonzalez charges in from first, and that one misses. 1-0.
I think Gonzalez has a safety squeeze in the back of his mind. That appeared to be what he was alerting Thor out there on the mound. I'll charge this side, you take the third base side.
Yeah, we could hear him yelling down there from way up here in the booth. There's that slider. 1-1. That's the same kind of slider we saw here from DeGrom on Friday night. That hard 92-93 breaker.
Hard, sharp, and late.
Ahmed takes off.
That seems a little odd. I'm not quite sure what happened there, whether Mathis tried to bunt on his own or Nick is stealing on his own. You probably don't start the runner if you're going to put on a safety squeeze. Maybe Jeff's just trying to bunt for a base hit on his own. If you got the runner started at first base and you happen to pop that bunt in the air, it's going to turn into an inning-ending double play. Good take right there. That's a tough pitch to take. That hard slider just off the outside corner. That time Mathis got a good read on it.
The pitcher, Clay Buchholz, is the on-deck hitter. Gerard Dyson at third, Nick Ahmed at first. Here's the 2-2 from Syndergaard. Oh, they had Nick leaning the wrong way. He just did get back in time. He was headed towards second there.
Just a slight flinch.
Ahmed holds. There's a little dribbler to third. Flores. The throw almost pulls Gonzalez off the bag. Dyson crosses, and it's 1-0 D-backs.
That serves the purpose of a safety squeeze. A 5-hopper to the left side. The only play Flores has is to go across the diamond as Gerard Dyson scores the first run of the game.
Way to run them pillows, Mr. Zoom by you.
So 1-0 D-backs. 2 outs, Ahmed at second, and here's Buchholz. Buchholz, for the vast majority of his career, an American League pitcher.
does hitter-like things up there in the left-handed batter's box. A little toe tap with the right foot that time as he got his hands back into a hitting position. Might want to do it just a little bit quicker.
98 is a lot to handle. Got a good looking waggle.
Like that ball hit that gentleman right on top of the head. Should have been glove day instead of bat day.
It's all timing. Line to second, and Guillorme is there, but the D-backs strike first. Bottom two coming up.
Time to take a look at this day in baseball history, brought to you by Geico. Now we got to give it up for Webby. He beat the Braves with his arm and his bat on this day, pitched a 4-hit shutout. 2 of those came to Chipper Jones, and recorded a career-high 3 RBIs on a bases-loaded double in the D-backs' 13-0 win. Way to go, Webby.
But there was also something that happened in that game, and it was this.
And now he's going to swing.
Whoa! That's the same game. And just because we don't want to pick on Webby too much, we'll show the double as well. There it is.
Yeah, money hitter. Look at that.
Just missed a home run, kind of.
Sort of.
And Diaz couldn't quite get it over his head.
Everybody come home. Way to go, Webby.
Clay Buchholz now with a 1-0 lead as Adrian Gonzalez leads off the bottom of the second for the Mets. The D-backs put the shift on against Gonzalez, who's in there at 255 with 5 home runs. Gonzalez flied out as a pinch hitter last night. That was a big at bat in the ball game. That snapped a 5-game hit streak for him. There's a look at the defense. Gonzalez having a fairly productive start for the Mets. Although all 5 home runs he's hit this year have come on the road. He's yet to hit a home run here at Citi Field this year. On the ground, right to Goldie. Buchholz is there. One down. Here is Luis Guillorme. And he's had a good start to his major league career. 4 hits in his first 6 big league at bats. He doubled as a pinch hitter last night. You see his numbers from AAA Las Vegas, just called up on May the 9th. Curveball misses 1-0. Guillorme has almost no power. 6 minor league seasons, more than 2,100 career plate appearances. He's hit 3 home runs. But he's a good infield defender. A start at second base here today. A day off for his Drupal Cabrera. Lifts this one in the air to left field for Peralta. Last night he was looking up into the fog and the mist. And we've got some sunshine here today.
Yeah, peeking in and out. This is a good day for the flip down shades, because there will be times today where the sun is very bright. Defenders will be looking right up into it, and there will be times that the clouds get in front of the sun and it's kind of dark in here.
Tomas Nido, the catcher. 135 this year. He was just called up from Las Vegas yesterday. Jose Lobaton, the veteran, was designated for assignment. Mets are down 2 catchers. Travis d'Arnaud out with Tommy John surgery, and Kevin Plawecki has a hairline fracture in his left hand. Mets are missing all kinds of guys. No Cespedes, no Lagares in the outfield. Todd Frazier's on the DL right now. He's got a left hamstring strain. David Wright still has a spot on the 40-man roster, but he hasn't played a game since May of 2016. That curveball is pulled foul. 2-2 on Tomas Nido.
You mentioned Jose Lobaton designated for assignment so they could get Nido on the active roster. They want him to work with Devin Mesoraco a little bit like John Ryan Murphy and Jeff Mathis. They want Mesoraco to kind of tutor Nido on how to prepare a game plan for your pitcher that day, how to read swings.
Yeah, Nido just turned 24 years old last month, an 8th round pick out of high school in Maitland, Florida. Syndergaard, the on deck hitter, 2 outs, full count on Nido. There's that cutter slider hybrid pitch he throws. Sometimes it acts like one, sometimes it acts like the other.
Just did get a piece of that when you could see the frustration by Jeff Mathis pounding his glove back there, but that's just luck. The guy tips that ball, you've got your glove where you think it's going to end up. You're going to square it up in the middle of the pocket of the mid, and then it's slightly deflected and hits you in a bad spot of the glove.
It all depends on that.
Yeah, it's just luck. I mean, you don't have time to react in the distance between where the bat makes contact with the ball and where you're sitting.
Well, he loses Nido, and now he'll work to the pitcher Syndergaard, who bats 8th in the Mets lineup.
'18 at bats, 11 punch outs this year for the left-handed hitting Syndergaard.
Let's make it 12. will stay fair for Goldie. We'll head to the third at Citi Field in New York. The D-backs lead the Mets 1-0. It's 1-0. Hey fans, D-back Star Wars Day coming up Saturday, June 2nd. First 20,000 fans get the Paul Solo bobblehead. That's courtesy of Cox Communications. Get your tickets at dbacks.com/Star Wars. And the lovely Bob Brenly modeling our Goldie Solo bobblehead here today in our booth. We're efforting a camera shot. You got to pick a camera.
Not easy.
So when
Where
Anthony did this yesterday, it worked
well,
beautifully.
he's a professional.
Yes,
he is. He's done this many times before.
Oh, we see we got Mike's camera turned all backwards and upside down. See, this went a lot better in rehearsal.
It sure did. Day game after night game, this always happens. Oh, there it is.
There you go.
Where am I looking
We'll
here?
go to
there
center
we
field.
go. There we go. You know, I noticed on this Paul Solo bobblehead, though, he's got a regular fielder's glove. It's got the 4 fingers and the webbing. It's not a first baseman's mitt.
Okay, you realize he's also not a Star Wars character.
Oh, no, I didn't know.
I'm not sure realism was priority 1, but that's a good point. Here's Peralta to start the third. So that's Paul Solo bobblehead day, fans. Get your tickets now, dbacks.com. June 2nd. First 20,000 fans get the Goldie bobble. Peralta struck out to lead off the ball game against Noah Syndergaard. Anthony, you were much better yesterday.
Well, Anthony had his start on The Price is Right. He's used to holding up things and pointing at things, and you know, just a rookie.
That's true. It's New York, though, and here this is Broadway in Queens. You got to bring your A game.
Yeah, if we can make it there, we can make it anywhere.
You know who snuck out and saw a show the other night was Leo Gilmartin.
Yeah, I heard. Leo never been to a Broadway show before, and
Good for him.
take one in on the off day.
I think it was Aladdin. That's 4 strikeouts for Syndergaard. He's gotten Peralta twice now.
Hard slider underneath the swing of David Peralta that time, shaking his head on the way back to the dugout. He's been a little buffaloed in his first 2 at-bats here.
Chris Owings walked and stole a base his first time up. That's a foul ball, says Jerry Lane at third. Just over the bag, it looked like.
I was waiting to look for him to point back to fair territory like Greg Gibson did on the right field line last night.
I kind of like that. That was cool. He changed his mind in mid-call, it looked like last night. Gibson had a ball down the first base line. Let's take a look at Jerry Lane here.
Ooh, I don't know. That might have gone right over the base.
Yeah, I thought it did from looking.
I mean, it can bounce into foul territory after it crosses the base, but if it goes right over the bag, and it's possibly a fair ball.
There's that Syndergaard slider, and it's 0-2. Try the breaking ball again, a ball and 2 strikes. Jake Lamb will be next. Jam shot pop up first base side. Gonzalez. Jake Lamb, a strikeout victim his first time up today. Mets will put 3 defenders on the right side of the infield. Diorme backs up in the outfield grass at second. Fastball up, didn't get the call that time. Lamb ahead 1-0.
Almost a swinging bunt down that third baseline. I don't think Nito would have had a play on Jake Lamb if that ball stayed in fair territory, but unfortunately just trickled into foul territory.
Syndergaard at 50 pitches, 34 strikes. He's walked 1, punched out 4 so far. Syndergaard's out of Mansfield, Texas. Clear eyes, full hearts. First round pick by the Blue Jays back in 2010. He beat Toronto here at Citi Field in his last start. That was Tuesday of last week. 2 runs, 5 hits in 5 innings. He struck out 7. That one at 98 is right there. He rings up Lamb, gets his 5th strikeout, but the D-backs hold a 1-0 lead.
where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Back at Citi Field in New York, Sedona red amongst the Mets blue here. And it's 1-0 Diamondbacks as Ahmed Rosario, the Mets shortstop, leads off the third against Clay Buchholz, making his D-backs debut. Rosario batting .238. He's 0 for 8 in the series. Nick Ahmed at shortstop collects that one. And they retire Rosario to start the third. That'll bring up Brandon Nimmo. D-backs looking for somebody to solidify this rotation spot with Robbie Ray out with that oblique injury. They've tried Chris Medlin. They gave Ryan Scribner a look. And now next man up is Clay Buchholz, who Torey Lovullo coached in Boston for several years. Nimmo struck out looking his first time up. Looks at a curveball there.
Good first pitch curveball right there from Buchholz that time.
Buchholz was a two-time All-Star with the Red Sox, a member of Boston's 2013 World Series champs. Parts of 10 seasons with the Red Sox. Left center field, Peralta.
Hey fans, the day after, day after every D-backs win, get 50% off all pizzas at regular menu price using promo code D-backs50 at papajohns.com.
2 outs on 4 pitches in the inning for Buchholz. Jay Bruce flying to center his first time up.
Still trying to catch my breath, partner. I tried to go to the restroom between innings, and it's cross training here. You go through the lunchroom, down the stairs, across the hall, up the stairs, over to the radio side where the restrooms are.
It is an obstacle course. It's an unusual configuration up here in the press box. You got some up downs there. There's that cutter. Buchholz ahead 1-2. So far he's walked 1, struck out 1. Lamb and Ahmed switch places now with a 2-strike count on Bruce. Clay Buchholz made only 2 starts with the Phillies last year. Wound up needing that surgery to repair a torn flexor tendon in his right elbow. So he had a couple of starts in April, and that's it. He was done. Signed a minor league deal with Kansas City near the end of spring training, and now he's here as a D-back. Right into the shift, and there's Descalso. A 1-2-3 third. D-backs lead at 1-0. Regular season game, live or on demand, at home, of the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. It includes MLB at Bat Premium that lets you watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Check out MLB.tv for details. Goldie leads off the D-backs fourth against Noah Syndergaard. Torey Lovullo out there the entire break that time, and a long discussion with Greg Gibson about something.
I'm not sure what it was. It wasn't a heated discussion. Torey asking the home plate umpire some questions and getting the answers, but it did last the entire inning break.
Very civil discussion and exchange of ideas, it looked like. Torey's good about that. If he's not sure about a very nitpicky thing that the umpires do or some kind of ruling, he'll just walk out there and ask him. You run into all kinds of different scenarios on the job here. 0-2 on Goldie.
Thought it might have something to do with the laces hanging off the glove of Noah Syndergaard out there on the mound.
Fights off a fastball at 98 in on the hand.
Obviously, that could be distracting to a hitter. That lace hanging way down there like that. That's unnecessary. Joe Madden back in 2015 complained to the umpires and forced them to adjust the laces on Tommy Kahnle's glove.
That thing is dangling down there pretty good. It's kind of like his hair. Yeah, that's a little much.
Yeah.
1-2 on Goldie. Rounded out his first time up. I know the rule is if there's something that might be distracting on the person of the pitcher, the umpires don't do anything about it until the manager asks them to. The umpire won't go out there on his own to point out something on the uniform or the glove. That hard changeup missed down, and it's 2-2. Goldschmidt, Descalso, Dyson 4, 5, and 6 here in the D-back fourth inning. Trying the slider, and it's full. In the air, pretty deep left center. Conforto on the warning track. 6 in a row set down by Syndergaard.
A nice running catch by Conforto out there in the gap in left center. Had a good jump on that ball. Looked like it was going to get down for extra bases, but Conforto ran it down.
That'll bring up Daniel Descalso, a strikeout victim his first time. Syndergaard has punched out 5 so far. D-backs got their run in the second inning. Singles by Dyson and Ahmed. And first and third, one out. Jeff Mathis had an RBI groundout. That brought Dyson home from third. Left that changeup up a bit, fouled away, and it's 1-1. Descalso had 2 hits in Friday's series opener. Fly down as a pinch hitter in the ball game last night, 9th inning. Change up away, got the call, and it's 1-2. Mentioned that's where Greg Gibson, if he does expand the zone, will do that east-west in the lower portion of the strike zone. Doesn't give you too many high strikes. Or low ones for that matter. It's 2-2. But if it's a little inside, a little outside, and it's down, oftentimes he'll give the pitcher the benefit of the doubt. Nito set up down and away. He missed at 98. And again, a full count, 3-2. Here comes the heat. He was ready for it. Skied it to center for Conforto.
Well, even if you guess right, it's still tough to square up 98. I mean, it happens. Syndergaard has given up a couple of home runs this year, but your swing has to be almost perfect, and it obviously has to be extremely quick.
Dyson singled and scored in the second inning.
3 for 3, all 3 hits against Syndergaard on the first pitch.
Flores in on the grass at third. I'm kind of with you. I'd like to see Gerard Dyson attempt a bunt at least once a game. Not because he can't hit, because he's so excited when you get that speed in motion and just wreak havoc out there. Flores creeps in again.
And with his speed, it doesn't have to be a perfect bunt. The defense knows how quick he is down that first baseline. Chances are they're going to rush the play, maybe not come up with it cleanly, force a bad throw, whatever it may be. Just find a way to get on there.
Flores backs off a bit at third base now, and Dyson squares to bunt, drops it down, and that's why you'd love to see it. Just a beauty there by Dyson. A 2-out bunt single. He's 2 for 2.
4 for 4 lifetime against Noah Syndergaard. Well, this is just a perfect bunt. Get it far enough away from the catcher that he doesn't have a play on it, and far enough in front of the third baseman that Flores can't make a play on it.
And now you've got that speed on the bases against a guy who has trouble holding runners in Syndergaard. Nick Ahmed, the hitter. Nick had a terrific at bat his first time up. Lined a 3-2 pitch into left center for a base hit. Syndergaard now at 70 pitches, 46 for strikes. And he's going to go to work over there on Dyson. That ended a stretch of 7 straight retired by Noah Syndergaard. Dyson breaks and holds. 97 there, down and away. Took a couple of steps towards second and then stopped. Fly ball to right field for Jay Bruce. Fighting that sun. And he's got it. And Conforto was right there backing up. Bottom 4, 1-0 Diamondbacks. Gives us let's go places. We're on an airplane after this one, headed to Milwaukee for the first of 3 against the Brewers. Zach Greinke against Chase Anderson tomorrow night at Miller Park, and then we fly to Oakland over the weekend for 3 against the Athletics. Trying to salvage the series finale here before we deal with the Brew Crew starting tomorrow night. Finally see some sunshine here in New York. It's been gross since we've been here. Just yucky, rainy, cloudy, cold, but sunny and a little more humid today. Wilmer Flores, who doubled in the first, leads off the 4th. And there's the Buchholz curveball. He steals strike 1. How about Buchholz? We mentioned, you know, they tried Chris Medlin, they tried Troy Scribner here, and so far, Bob, Buchholz has given you 3 innings of 1-hit baseball.
He's looked really good, mixing up his pitches. Yeah, working a little quicker than I remember.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. He's not nearly as deliberate as we remembered, which is nice to see. Buchholz made 3 minor league starts in the Royal system this year. He signed late in spring training. And then a pair of starts with the D-backs AAA club in Reno. His last start with the Aces was a week ago today, Mother's Day, against El Paso. 3 runs, 6 hits, and 5 2/3. He walked 4 in that start. Chris Owings in right field. Buchholz coming off that surgery for the torn flexor tendon last year. Signed that minor league deal with Kansas City. And he wasn't up with the big league club by May the 1st, so that left him free to look elsewhere. Had interest from several clubs, but he knew the D-backs were looking for some pitching depth. And so he signed with the Diamondbacks. Greg Gibson wants something changed out there in the outfield.
Yeah, pointing out towards center field. Occasionally there'll be something in the batter's eye or in the hitter's background that's distracting. Not sure exactly what that was all about.
But it's been taken care of, and Conforto steps in. Shift is on for the D-backs against the left-hand batter. Pops up the first pitch. Mathis near the screen.
It's kind of hard to tell what effect the wind will have on the ball game. It's blowing pretty hard. It appears to be out to right field today, but once it gets inside the bowl here at Citi Field, it kind of swirls around a little bit. Good job by Jeff Mathis. Chase everything. You never know which direction it may go once it gets up into that wind.
Shoots it the other way, but right at the only guy over there, Jake Lamb. 2 outs in the 4th.
Right where he was standing. One defender on the left side of the field, and Conforto hit it right to it.
That'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez, and they'll leave that shift on. Gonzalez grounded out his first time up. Buchholz has retired 9 of the last 10 Mets he's faced. 1-0 on Gonzalez.
And Gonzalez will bunt against that exaggerated pole shift. He did it in the 8th inning of game 1 of this series.
Shoots this one deep to left field. Peralta near the line. And Clay Buchholz, an 8-pitch 4th inning. He leads it 1-0. as we start the 5th inning. Fans, don't forget, if you can't watch the games on TV, stream them live on your mobile device. Use Fox Sports Go. It's brought to you locally by your Valley Honda dealers. Download the free app and take Fox Sports Arizona and your D-backs with you wherever you go. Jeff Mathis, who has knocked in the game's only run with an RBI groundout, leads off the 5th. Flores kicks that one at 3rd, and Mathis is aboard. Well, that's why Wilmer Flores never did make it as a shortstop with the Mets. He's had to become a super utility type. And that's E5.
Yeah, it looked like a fairly routine play that time. Just clanked out of the glove into foul territory, allowing Mathis to safely reach on the E5. Wow, in and out, rattled around.
They tried hard, real hard, to make Flores a shortstop. Never looked comfortable there. They gave him nearly 500 games at shortstop in the minor leagues. Finally gave up on that idea, and since then he's been a second base, third base type. Buchholz gets the bunt down as Gonzalez picks it up in fair territory. They move Mathis along.
Nicely done for a guy that hasn't had a lot of at-bats the last couple of years. Haven't had a lot of at-bats in his career, period. Perfect sack bunt that time.
So Mathis is at second, 1 out for David Peralta, who has struck out twice so far, 0 for 2. And that one is rolled into right field. Tony Perez-Chico waving Mathis home. Here's the throw. And they get him at home. Jay Bruce throws it out from right.
Well, those are always deceiving, those plays at the plate. It certainly appeared like the ball beat him and he was going to be out, but I'm not so sure he didn't get on the plate before the tag was applied. Very close. And those are the kind of things you'll see from a third base coach. When a team is struggling to score runs, you tend to be a little more aggressive. You take chances because you haven't had many chances recently.
A base hit for Peralta. He's at first, 2 down for Owings, who was walked and popped up. All that on only 3 pitches in this inning for Syndergaard. Squib shot. Nito picks it up. And it's a quick 5th for Thor. A 4-pitch inning, 1-0 D-backs. Summer, the World Cup is coming to Fox and FS1. Every match live, over 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event begins June 14th on Fox and FS1. Luis Guillorme. It's a fly ball to left field. It backs up Peralta. And that's how we start the bottom of the 5th inning. For Clay Buchholz, that is now 8 straight. He's retired in 11 of the last 12.
The last 5 hitters in the ball game have each swung at the first pitch. Buses must be double parked or something.
Syndergaard faced 4 batters in that top of the 5th, threw 4 pitches and got out of the inning while giving up a base hit.
Yeah.
That's hard to do.
And an error behind it.
Here's Nito. Good point. Tomas Nido, the catcher, walked his first time. Boy, Buchholz is only at 51 pitches for the ball game here, with 1 out in the 5th. Nito's walk with 2 down in the 2nd inning was the last Met base runner against Buchholz. We left that changeup in a bad spot, but it's 2-2.
Yeah, he's missed up with that changeup a few times today, but the arm action is so good on it. He's still gotten swings and misses on changeups up in the zone.
Arm action. Is that what you're looking for? Or is that what deceives the hitter?
Yeah, that's what deceives the hitter, definitely. But yeah, you want to make it look as much like your fastball as you possibly can. Same arm speed, same arm slot, same delivery, and let the grip on the ball take the velocity off to get the hitter out in front.
Full count, 3-2. Owings in right field, near the line, backing up, and CO has it just shy of the wall out there. Boy, that wind that you mentioned earlier, Bob, is really gusting toward that right field foul pole, and it looks like that one almost sailed away from CO.
Yeah, just kept working closer and closer to the line. CO eventually gets on the warning track close to the wall and makes the catch. There's a few little oddities here at Citi Field in the outfield. A couple of nooks and crannies, especially out there in right field. As you mentioned in the ball game last night, they moved the fences in the left field. You used to have to hit it all the way up into the stands to get a home run in this ballpark.
Yeah, when this ballpark debuted, it was way too big.
Yep.
They wanted to make it a pitcher's park, but they went a little overboard. There's the curveball, and it's 0-2. They had to put new fences all around the yard. You see that WB Mason sign right there where people are sitting out on the party deck. The wall behind them was the original outfield wall here. Clay Buchholz has got it rolling. He's retired 10 straight and 13 of 14. He leads it 1-0.
Nationwide Vision Center's Eye on the Game. We're going to give you a pitch-by-pitch of the entire inning for Noah Syndergaard. First pitch, ground ball to third, was mishandled. A sac bunt, a base hit, and a little tapper out in front of home plate. 4 pitches, he gave up a hit, an error, and had a man thrown out at home plate. Only threw 4 pitches.
Mathis thrown out at the plate on the Peralta single. Faced 4 batters, got 3 outs on 4 pitches. Pretty good. Well, Clay Buchholz has been outstanding, Bob. 10 in a row, 13 of 14 is set down. So far, 5 scoreless innings, and Buchholz has given up only 1 hit.
Yeah, he's looked really, really good. I think he's far exceeded expectations going into this ball game, but don't stop now.
Jake Lamb, Paul Goldschmidt, and Daniel Descalso in the D-backs 6th inning, 3, 4, and 5 against Noah Syndergaard. D-backs lead at 1-0. They got their run in the 2nd inning. 1-out singles by Dyson and Ahmed. And an RBI ground out by Mathis. That's been all the scoring so far. Lamb so far 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. Guillorme, the second baseman, backs up in the outfield grass, and Rosario, the shortstop, moves to the first base side of second. Breaking balls fouled back, and it's 0-1. A bouncer to first for Gonzalez. Easy play, 1 away.
Hey fans, the D-backs home run today means a free jumbo jack tomorrow at participating Jack in the Box locations with the purchase of a large drink.
Goldie 0 for 2. He's grounded out, flied out.
Now the fly out to left center field was really struck well. Took a nice running catch from Michael Conforto to retire Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, you mentioned last night that the thing that you really liked about the Goldie homer was watching him pull the ball.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we know Goldie is a guy that hits from gap to gap, uses the big part of the ballpark, but every now and then he'll just turn and burn on a pitch inside, and that one he hit out of here against Steven Matz last night was about 6 or 8 inches off the inside corner. Still barreled it up the left field.
His first home run since April 15th. All 5 of Goldie's homers this year have come on the road. Got the breaking ball, and it's 1-2. TJ McFarland has started warming up in the D-back bullpen. Missed with another breaking ball, and it's 2-2. Goldie drops that one into right field. The 1-out single. That'll bring up Daniel Descalso. Descalso has struck out, flied out. Clouds overhead getting a little thicker right now. The lights are not turned on here. We've had intermittent sunshine all afternoon. There is a chance of rain in the forecast for later on this afternoon. but we're supposed to be okay here today. Here's that hard changeup. 2-0.
You know, partner, in the past we've talked a lot about Goldie and his running style. He doesn't lift his knees high in the air when he runs, but he still is very fast for a guy his size. Reminded me of Will Clark. Will Clark had a very unusual running style. He was a lot quicker than you realize, but he never really pumped his knees very high when he was running.
Yeah, Goldie kind of defies physics. His knees don't actually go up when he runs. I don't know how he does it. Well, they got the 2-0 fastball last time. Here's the 2-1. They'll keep Goldie close down there. Yeah, in a way, Goldie runs the way Fred Flintstone used to drive his car. It's just very quick feet.
Yeah. Keep the feet close to the ground. You can only propel yourself forward when your feet are on the ground.
Oh, they got him leaning the wrong way. And they finally do get the tag at second, says Vic Carapazza down there. We saw that almost happen to Nick Ahmed earlier in the game today. Nick made it back safely, but Goldie was hung up.
Goldie looks like he thought he got around the tag. Didn't see a tag right there. Ooh, oh man, I don't know. Unless that tag pushed his finger off the base. Very odd looking play down there.
And of course, once Rosario extends that arm, that establishes the baseline, but it looks like Goldie kind of ducked under it rather than go around him out of the baseline.
It's close enough to challenge.
Yeah, check it.
They're going to challenge. You heard Jerry Narin talking to Alan Campbell on the phone, telling Torrey it's close enough to challenge, so take a shot. And from the angle we just showed you, D-backs may have a pretty good case.
Well, and obviously you want Goldie to get to second base. You got one of your best clutch hitters at the plate in Daniel Descalso. Gerard Dyson already has 2 hits in the ball game behind him, so you definitely want to win this challenge.
Now here's the initial tag that establishes the baseline right there, and he missed him clearly. So he didn't run out of the baseline.
No.
As Gonzalez may be claiming.
He missed him there. Goldie's got a finger on the bag. Like I said, unless they rule that Rosario pushed his hand off the base.
We talked about Alan Campbell's outstanding track record as the Diamondbacks video coordinator. 15 challenges this year, and the D-backs have been successful 11 times.
And some of the ones where they weren't successful, it was late in the ball game. You had a challenge in your pocket to use. Why not go ahead and use it? Unfortunately, it didn't work out the Diamondbacks' way, but I think it was still wise every time they've challenged.
Now Greg Gibson is coming over to check in with Jerry Lane and Vic Carapazza over there. Even though Goldie avoided the tag, it sure didn't look like he ran out of the baseline. You're given a few feet on either side.
Yeah, you gave a good description. Your baseline is established when the runner moves toward you as a base runner.
Now, does he have a finger on the bag here? Hard to tell definitively from that angle. You can't see the back of the base. That's what they're looking at in New York, or across the river, I should say.
It's a local call.
Yeah, they're going to need to look at every angle they got. Of course, they have angles at MLB headquarters that we don't have here. There's cameras all over the ballpark, so they may see something that we don't have for you.
Looks like we're near a decision. Hands go up to the headphones.
He is out at second. Worth a shot in a 1-0 game. And Descalso at the plate. So base is empty, 2 down. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
One thing I liked about that play, the only thing I liked about that play, was the fact that Goldie didn't jump up and point into the dugout. Challenge that, challenge that. He knows that Torrey and his staff and Alan Campbell are going to take a look at it. He doesn't have to tell them.
Well, head to the home half of the 6th inning. D-backs lead the Mets 1-0. Half of the 6th inning, it's 1-0 Diamondbacks. We're on an airplane after this for Milwaukee. What's next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. 3 against the Brewers at Miller Park starting tomorrow night, with Zach Greinke, the former Brewer, against Chase Anderson, the former D-back.
Zach Greinke in his hard changeup, Chase Anderson in his Bugs Bunny changeup.
Ahmed Rosario, the shortstop, leads off the Mets 6th against Clay Buchholz, who has retired 10 straight Mets and 13 of the last 14, and yet TJ McFarland is down there warming up at the bullpen and has been for a while. What's the deal with that?
Well, you got all those lefties loaded up in the Mets lineup today. I'm sure that has something to do with it. Also,
fly ball left field. Peralta will watch it go. Ahmed Rosario, his first of the year, and we're tied at 1.
I was just going to say, you're roll around to the top of the order, 3rd time through the Mets batting order. That's when you start to worry a little bit about a guy like Clay Buchholz. Hasn't thrown a lot of innings.
That's only the 2nd hit that Buchholz has given up today, and the first since Flores' double in the 1st inning. Nationwide Vision eye on the game.
Good first pitch curveball right there. Came back with a second one. It was on the inside part of the plate. And Rosario, after seeing one on the first pitch, squares that one up to left center.
It went off the back of the old home run fence here and onto that party deck, which is the new fence. And here comes Torey Lovullo. You've got Nimmo, Bruce, Conforto, Gonzalez, Guillorme, all lefties coming up, and the lefty is coming in. We're tied at 1 at Citi Field. Back after this. struggled. Clay Buchholz was outstanding, 5+. He gave up only 1 run on 2 hits, and at one point retired 10 straight. But the Rosario homer has taken away the chance for a win for Buchholz.
Yeah, really, his stuff was good today. Showed some really good curve balls. We talked about the straight changeup, what an effective pitch that was for him, and kept his fastball out of the middle of the plate. Really outstanding job today by Clay Buchholz.
Through 61 pitches, 39 strikes. So with his left-hand heavy Met lineup coming up for the 3rd time today, we see T.J. McFarland. Brandon Nimmo so far is 0 for 2. Well, that's set up perfectly too for Buchholz to get out of there with a 1-0 lead. To bring TJ in to face all these lefties, but Rosario took him deep.
Not only was his stuff good, and he was really good today, but he's very efficient. Didn't throw a lot of pitches, which I think was one of the main concerns going in. This is a guy that historically throws a lot of pitches, walks a lot of guys. Easy play for Nick Ahmed at short that time.
Yeah, boy, there was the Flores double with 2 outs in the first, the Nito walk with 2 outs in the second, and those were the only runners before Rosario's homer. Buchholz was outstanding here today. Jay Bruce 0 for 2. D-backs have the shift on. Slider is low, but TJ gets the call. 0-1. Foul behind Ruben Amaro at first. Jay Bruce has not homered at Citi Field this year. He's batting under 170 at home.
I was just going to say that Snake Plissken's escape from New York was not easy. He had to work hard. Diamondbacks are going to have to work hard today to escape New York with a win.
Oh, he had that eye patch and everything. Into the shift, and there's no play for Lamb. Tried the tough backhander on the outfield grass.
A little soft liner right there. I'm not sure if Jake thought he could get there in the air or whether he intended to play it on that short hop, but hits the glove and gets away. That'll be a base hit for Jay Bruce.
Just the 3rd hit for the Mets. That brings up Wilmer Flores, who doubled in the first. Lamb at 3rd. Bruce coming in hard. They settle for 1. There's Michael Conforto, another Met lefty. Back to TJ. But Ahmed Rosario's first of the year ties it at 1. We hit the 7th in New York.
for the Diamondbacks. He's been on base twice, a single and a bunt single. And you know what, though? This is a special place for him. He scored the go-ahead run in the 2015 World Series Game 5, the Royals beating these Mets. Such a special time for him. When I walked into the clubhouse on Friday, he said, this is the same spot I was in, celebrating. It was like it was yesterday for him. And guys, he's looking forward to getting on base here again. He scored the only run for the D-backs. If he gets on, you never know what's going to happen.
That's true, Jody. He's shown his speed in the game already today with a bunt single back in that 4th inning. Perfect 4 for 4 in his career against Noah Syndergaard. That's funny how you have good experiences on road ballparks and suddenly they become one of your favorite places to visit. You have bad series in a certain road park, you never want to go back again. Look at this.
Dyson dunks one into right center. He's 3 for 3. He's loving Citi Field.
He's a machine against Thor. Found one hitter at least that can beat the superheroes.
At his speed aboard to lead off the 7th inning. Nick Ahmed, the hitter. Nick singled in the 2nd. He's 1 for 2. "90 pitches, 61 strikes for Noah Syndergaard." Their bullpen will start to get busy now.
I think the initial plan was to have TJ McFarland give the Diamondbacks some length in relief of Clay Buchholz, but now with the pitcher spot sneaking up here, you possibly have a chance to score a run in this inning. Yoshi Hirano begins to throw in the bullpen.
And Dyson aboard. Now behind him you've got 7, 8, 9. Dyson holding. You don't see a lot of 95-mile-an-hour sliders. Here's
Thank
Yoshi.
goodness.
Bright sunshine now peeking through the clouds overhead. Dyson breaks for 2nd. Ahmed fouls it off. That's happened to Gerard a couple of times today.
Yeah, and I know taking a pitch might put Nick in an 0-2 hole, but when you see that base runner get that kind of a jump, and as a right-handed hitter, you can see it. You got to take that pitch, let him get into scoring position, then go to work with 2 strikes if that's what you have to do.
Zellman, the right-hander, Blevins, the lefty.
It seems like every time Syndergaard goes over to first base, he really fumbles with the ball in his glove as he's standing there in the set position. I don't know if you can see that from first base, but I've seen him do it on at least a few of his pickoff attempts.
That's the kind of thing that Dave McKay always looks for. Some kind of poker tell.
If that's his tell, this should be another pickoff.
Yep. I think you're onto something.
And like I said, sometimes you can't see that from first base. Now, Tony Perez-Chica from third base could possibly see it, and that's where you get to relaying signs across the diamond. Obviously makes it a little tougher than if the first base coach can see it.
Dyson holds on the 0-2 and Ahmed strikes out. 7 strikeouts for Syndergaard.
Yeah, 0-2 and 1-2 counts are a little dangerous because the Mets could possibly pitch out.
Well, here's Jeff Mathis, who's knocked in the D-backs run, an RBI ground out in the 2nd inning. TJ McFarland is up next, and he is out of there in the on deck circle. Arano warming up in the pen. Fastball at the knees, 0-1. Greg Gibson has some cleanup duty over there.
Give it to BB. That's one of the teams that has their bat boys and ball boys down the lines. Wear those jerseys with the BB on them. I love that.
I wonder why. Looks good though.
Yeah, it does.
Some teams will have their bat boys that'll say on the back like Jeff.
Yeah.
And then everybody just yells at Jeff from
Hey,
the stands
Jeff.
all day. Jeff, give me a ball. Oh, and 2. Dyson takes off. That one is over the mound. Diorme makes a nice play from second. And with 2 outs, Dyson's at second. And McFarland will walk back to the dugout.
You've got Ketel Marte, a switch hitter, Alex Avila, a left-handed swinger, and then Souza, Murphy, and Marrero from the right side. Looks like it's going to be Ketel Marte to take the at-bat.
So we'll look for a 2-out RBI for Marte with Hirano ready in the bullpen. Ketel had a single in the game last night, his only hit in the series.
I'm guessing there was a slight delay before selecting the pinch hitter because Ketel Marte was up taking some swings in the cage. As you know, you go up the steps behind the Diamondbacks dugout, down a hallway, and the batting cage is right there.
They have a great facility right in the clubhouse next to the manager's office. It's one of the best around. Missed at 98, 1-0. Trying to get Dyson home from second with 2 outs in a 1-1 ball game. Good take there, a changeup, 2-0.
One of Dyson's 2 stolen bases in the game last night was a steal of third. Now, it's not a high percentage proposition right here. He's already in scoring position. With his speed, he should score on just about anything hit to the outfield.
Still throwing hard at 98 here in the 7th. And ready to throw pitch number 100.
Syndergaard's gone over 100 pitches 3 times this year before today, but never more than 103.
99 is there, 2-2. Crowd here trying to get 4 through the 7th. The 2-2 to Ketel Marte. This is low, a slider. Peralta singled his last time up against Syndergaard, hoping to get a chance here. Dyson at second, 2 outs. There's a tapper first base side. Syndergaard covers it. And they strand Dyson. We stretch at Citi Field, tied at 1.
To throw people off a little bit, I know, but my mom and I spent a lot of time together because my dad was away in the television industry. So she would needlepoint and sew, and I'd sit there and watch her, and she would see my curiosity, so I'd start to needlepoint with her and just spend that quality mother-son time.
Well, that's Tuesday coming up, the season premiere of D-Backs Driven In, as we tag along with Jody and Torey Lovello in a 2018 Ford Mustang GT. Don't miss D-Backs Driven In, brought to you by Sanderson Ford, Tuesday, right here on Fox Sports Arizona, after the D-Backs and the Brewers. Well, we saw Yoshihisa Hirano warming up for the bottom of the 7th inning. Instead, we get Jorge De La Rosa. De La Rosa got a huge out in the ball game last night when he got pinch hitter Adrian Gonzalez to pop up with the bases loaded. D-backs trying to salvage the finale here at Citi Field. 1-1 bottom 7 against a Met team that got the win here last night, giving them back-to-back wins for the first time in more than a month. There's Dave Eiland, the pitching coach, with Noah Syndergaard, who worked 7 innings and gave up only the 1 run. He had 7 strikeouts. Gonzalez and De La Rosa, the rematch here, as the first baseman leads off the Mets 7.
And this late in a tie ball game, you got to believe if Gonzalez does happen to reach base, you're going to see a pinch runner out of that first base dugout.
Gonzalez 0 for 2 against Buchholz, batting .250 on the year. He is just 1 for 8 this season against left-hand pitchers. He doesn't face a whole lot of lefties here as a Met. Fastball fouled away, and it's 0-1. Gonzalez just turned 36 years old last week, his first season with the Mets, and his 15th year in the big leagues. An unusual place to put that split finger pitch, but it worked out. 0-2.
He took an unusual swing at it.
340 career against Jorge De La Rosa. fastball up there that time and struck him out.
Carved him up pretty good. First pitch fastball to jump ahead in the count, and then the split finger we talked about that just kind of fluttered up there above the top of the strike zone, got the swing and a miss, and then comes right back with another high fastball. Nice job.
Our Nationwide Vision Center's eye on the game. Luis Guillorme, the second baseman, 0 for 2. He has twice flying out to left field. Trying to bunt his way on. De La Rosa's right there. 2 outs. That'll bring up the catcher, Tomas Nido. Mets bullpen is busy. D-backs bullpen is quiet right now. Toronto is sat down. Nido was walked and flying out. 0 for 1. Just called up from AAA on Saturday. They DFA'd Jose Lobaton, who'd been the backup catcher here. This is Nido's second season seeing time in the big leagues. He played 5 games with the Mets last year. His second stint with the big league club this season. Here's the split, 1-1. Jerry Blevins, the left-hander, is ready in the bullpen. Pitcher spot is next, and as Drupal Cabrera is in the on-deck circle for the Mets, he would hit for Syndergaard. Should Nido reach? Up the middle and into center field. Tomas Nido, a 2-out single. Just the 4th hit for the Mets. And here's Cabrera hitting for Syndergaard, 8th in the National League with that .316 batting average. He's got 6 homers.
We've talked about it throughout this series. Mickey Callaway with a very short bench. He's got the backup catcher over there today, Devin Mesoraco. A couple of switch hitters and 1 right-handed bat, and that is it.
Cabrera is a switch hitter. He's just under .320 from either side of the plate, but most of the power comes from the left-hand side. Splitters in the dirt, 1-0. Cabrera singled twice and walked last night. He was 0 for 4 Friday. Missed away, and it's 2-0. Syndergaard went 7, gave up a run on 6 hits. He walked 1. He struck out 7. 102 pitches. That's foul in front of Glenn Sherlock at third. Beebe went down.
What a play up against the tarp down the left field line.
What a play by Beebe. He knows it.
Watch this stop. Goes into foul territory.
Oh! He held on. That's all that matters. Check swing, excuse me, foul, and it's 2-2. Play. D-backs leading the Rockies by a half game atop the National League West at 25-20. Colorado is at San Francisco later today. 2-2. Dodgers are at Washington. The Nationals lead that one 2-1. They're in the fourth. Padres lead at Pittsburgh 2-1 fifth inning. Here in New York 1-1 in the seventh. 2 outs, 2-2 on Asdrubal Cabrera. Fly ball, deep left center. And gone. Asdrubal Cabrera. That's his 7th of the year. And it's 3-1 Mets. The Mets have scored 11 runs in this series, 6 of them coming via the home run.
Tried to sneak a slider down and into Cabrera. Unfortunately, stays over the inside part of the plate. Very little doubt about that one. Deep drive to left center. Way back into the bleachers.
So Rosario, the shortstop, ties it in the 6th with a homer. And now Cabrera makes it 3-1 in the 7th. And here is Rosario. He hits one deep to center field. Dyson will have to play it off the wall. It's gone for a home run just over the orange line. They go back to back, and Rosario hits his 2nd of the game. Just over that orange line out there.
Yep.
Well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, these are the kind of things that the Diamondbacks were doing to opponents throughout the first month of the season, coming up with the big timely hits, unexpected heroes.
Brandon Nimmo. De La Rosa came on, got Gonzalez and Guillorme. Nito had the 2-out single, and then Cabrera and Rosario go back to back. Suddenly it's 4-1. And there's another Met 2-out hit. Jay Bruce now. He singled off the lefty McFarland his last time up. Conference time for Mike Butcher. Bullpen still quiet for the D-backs. Levin still warming up in the Met bullpen. This is the way things have gone lately for the boys in Sedona Red. Only 5-12 in the month of May. They've dropped 9 of 10. Trying to get out of this 7th inning. They'll put the shift on for Bruce with Nimmo at first and 2 outs. Had Nimmo leaning the wrong way that time.
Yeah, Mets don't run a lot. Nimmo a perfect 2 for 2 on the season in stolen base attempts. Well, with 2 outs in the inning, you may see him try to go right here to get into scoring position.
Splitter missed away. De La Rosa about to throw his 20th pitch of this inning. He got the first 2 outs in this inning on 4 pitches. A strikeout and a tapper back to the mound, but since then single, homer, single. And Rosario, who hadn't homered all year, did not have a base hit in the series and has homered in his last 2 at-bats. Nimmo takes off for second. Bruce swinging a miss, and he's in there. Steal number 3 for Nimmo on the year. Two and 2 on Jay Bruce. Called strike 3. And Bruce is not happy with Greg Gibson's strike zone. Nets go back to back. They lead at 4-1. Homers in the 6th and 7th. He and Cabrera go back to back in that 7th inning, and now the D-backs trail at 4-1 as we start the 8th.
Well, the pitching bailed out the offense plenty of times in that first month of the season. It's about time for the offense to bail out the pitching staff.
Here's new Papa just off the paternity list. It's Jerry Blevins, the left-hander, his 19th appearance of the year. David Peralta leads off the D-back 8th.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free crunchy beef tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
David singled his last time up. He's 1 for 3 today. Lefties this year hitting just over 270 against Jerry Blevins. The check swing foul. Didn't mean to do that. 1-2. D-backs have been out hit 7-6. They trail at 4-1. Rod Dyson has 3 of their 6 hits, all singles. Now that fastball at 89 just off the plate. David goes down looking. That's where Greg Gibson can get a little east and west on you. Here comes Mickey Callaway.
Appeared to be just off that outside corner. The delivery from Jerry Blevins. Vito kind of stuck that pitch right there just off the outside corner, and they buy a call from Greg Gibson.
He's not going to let the lefty face Chris Owings here. Back after this, Gazelman on his way in. For a few big giveaway games coming up in June. You don't want to miss these, starting with the Paul Solo Star Wars bobblehead day June 2nd, and the Father's Day Hawaiian shirt on June 17th, and the must-have travel duffel bag on June 30th. Get your tickets for all these games and more at tbacks.com.
That duffel bag, a must-have item for little leaguers out there. You got to have something to carry your gloves and your hat and all your stuff to the little league games.
Papa got a brand new bag. Robert Gazelman, we saw him in the series opener Friday, got 3 outs on 8 pitches, including retiring Chris Owings on a line out to shortstop, and now he faces CO here with 1 out in the 8th. Chris 0 for 2. He's walked and stolen a base today. That's on a play, 1-1. Gazelman's the guy, one of the couple back there actually, can give Mickey Callaway some length in that bullpen. He's 4th in the majors in innings pitched by a reliever, nearly 28. Fastball down at the knees, and it's 1-2. Former Met Fernando Salas riding in the bullpen. Reaches out and hits a tapper to second. Guillorme gets him, 2 outs. Jake Lamb 0 for 3.
Disturbing pattern starting to develop, partner. Last season the Diamondbacks scored 1 or no runs only 18 times the entire season. They've done it 10 times already this year.
It's been slow going, 5-12 in the month of May. Torrey was saying again in his office this morning, it's just amazing how this game can turn on you on a dime. 10 days ago, everything was cupcakes and parades. Feeling good about themselves, a whole bunch of wins, big lead atop the division. But it's been some rough sledding here. They've lost 9 of 10. But still holding on to the lead in the NL West. Rockies at San Francisco later today.
We talked about it before. Somebody or somebodies in that third base dugout probably walking up and down right now saying somebody's going to pay. Somebody's going to pay. This is just too good of an offensive ball club to be sputtering along the way they have the last couple of weeks.
2-2. Into the shift. And they retire Lamb. Automate on the way. D-backs trail it 4-1. Clay Buchholz was outstanding in his D-backs debut. Gave up only 2 hits through 5+. One of them, the Ahmed Rosario homer in the 6th inning that tied the game. And then Jorge De La Rosa had a rough 7th as Drupal Cabrera and Rosario went back-to-back in that inning. And now it's 4-1 as the former Met Fernando Salas is on to work the home half of the 8th inning. Salas 48 appearances with the Mets last year before he was released and picked up by the Angels. Wilmer Flores doubled in the 1st. He leads off the 8th. Popped up shortstop side. 1 out for Ahmed. D-backs in the 9th inning will have Goldie, Descalso, Dyson do up 4, 5, and 6. Dyson's 3 for 3 today. He's got half their hits. Here's Conforto. 0 for 3. Three infielders on the first base side against Conforto. Dodgers have taken a 3-2 lead in Washington. They're in the 7th inning. Padres and Pirates tied up 4-4 at Pittsburgh, also in the 7th. Rockies and Giants later today.
Red Sox lead the Orioles 5-0. Just Dinger's hit 2 more today. He's tied with Mookie Betts for the major league lead with 15 now.
And they're both on the same team.
How about that?
Meanwhile, the Yankees are beaten up in Kansas City. They lead the Royals 6-0.
Yankees hit 5 home runs yesterday.
Going to be a slugfest between those two all year long in the American League East. Full count, 3-2. Adrian Gonzalez 0 for 3 on deck. Slicing this one down the line and just does make the seats.
Not a lot of room in foul territory down the lines here at Citi Field. Quite a bit of foul territory behind home plate and between the bases, but you run out of room in a hurry down in those corners.
Yeah, you get about 1 step and that's it. And then it's hello wall.
Hello wall.
Still 3-2 on Michael Conforto. One more time over there. We head to Milwaukee after this one. 3 against the Brewers at Miller Park starting tomorrow night. Zach Greinke and Chase Anderson. That's foul in front of Ruben Amaro. Another nice play by Beebe. Beebe's had a terrific game.
Really good game. Brewers in Minnesota today. No score in that game. Brewers have won 3 in a row, 7 of their last 10.
Yeah, they're rolling right now. This is chopped to Descalso into the shift. And they retire Conforto, who's 0 for 4 today. Adrian Gonzalez. Gonzalez has turned out to be a pretty decent pickup for the Mets. He's making just over $22 million this year, the final year of his contract, but the Mets are only paying him the league minimum. Most of his money is being picked up by the Dodgers and the Braves. Slaps that one foul.
Now, one thing you know about Adrian Gonzalez, he will give you a professional at bat every time up there to the plate. He'll take his walks. He's got a little bit of pop left. I think he's become a smarter hitter as his career has gone on. We've seen him take some base hits to the opposite field with there's runners in scoring position. We've seen him bunt for a base hit against that pull shift.
Yeah, it looked like maybe last year when he hit 242 and 3 homers in LA that age and injuries had finished him off. He was part of that salary dump Matt Kemp deal with Atlanta in December and then was almost immediately let go by the Braves. Signed with the Mets in January. He's had a good start this year. Drives that one toward left center, and it drops in for a base hit. Gonzalez a 2-out single. Luis Guillorme.
Not really much reason to hold Adrian Gonzalez on at first base.
He might be one of the slowest humans on the planet.
Fewest stolen bases in Major League history, a minimum of 1,600 career games. Adrian Gonzalez with 6.
He and Goldie have been down together there a few times. Checking in with Ruben Amaro. You sure you don't want me to run?
He's asking if it has a green light.
On the ground to shortstop, right to Nick Ahmed. And that ends the Met 8th. Goldie leads off the ninth. D-backs trail at 4-1. In danger of getting swept by the Mets. They trail at 4-1. D-backs have not been swept here at Citi Field since July of 2015. They've had a whole lot of luck in this ballpark, but things have turned this year. Goldie singled his last time up, 1 for 3. Gazelman back out there with Familia, the closer, warming up in the Met bullpen.
Need some traffic on the bases right here. Put some pressure on the Mets defense. They can kick it around a little bit.
Slider from Gazelman, and it's 2-2. Descalso on deck. Dyson after that. The 2-2 to Goldie.
He's got a piece of that hard slider from the Mets right-hander.
with you tomorrow from Miller Park in Milwaukee. D-backs live pregame show at 4 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona. Zach Greinke and Chase Anderson tomorrow. First of 3 against the Brewers. Got caught looking at a fastball. 1 down in the 9th. Scalzo 0 for 3 today. D-backs with 6 hits in the ball game. Dyson, who's on deck, has 3 of them. Well, unless something changes here, the D-backs will drop into a tie with the Rockies for the NL West lead. And Colorado plays later tonight at San Francisco. No, we didn't go, Jerry Lane. 1-1. Fastball's in there at 94. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just missed with that pitch. Backdoor breaking ball. 2-2.
Hold your breath on that one. We've seen Greg Gibson go off that outside corner when the pitch has been down. I'm sure Daniel was anxiously waiting to hear that call.
Well, Scalzo strikes out for the 3rd time today. 2 down in the 9th. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing pool plays of the game, all turned in by Gerard Dyson. 3 for 3, all singles. And he scored the only D-back run.
And when you get 6 hits in a ball game and 3 of them come from one player, it's pretty tough to space those out and turn them into runs. Perfect bunt for a base hit down that 3rd base line. Line drive into center field. He really had Syndergaard's number again today.
Citi Field as the Mets go for the 3-game sweep. D-backs lose it 4-1. They are swept in 3 here. They dropped to 5-13 in the month of May. They've lost 10 of their last 11 games.
Just keep telling yourself it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Diamondbacks, as I said a couple of innings ago, they're just too good of an offensive ball club, too physically talented to have this go on much longer.
It's the 11th time this season the D-backs have been held to 1 or fewer runs. Back from New York after this.